Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people use every day. Yet some of these coins hide a secret that can turn a few cents into a treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into the story of one seemingly ordinary coin that has caught the attention of collectors across the country. The 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny in your pocket, but if you know what to look for, it can tell a story that goes far beyond its copper coating. The 2007 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of coins honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Since 1909, Lincoln pennies have been a staple of American currency, recognized not only for their practicality but also for their iconic design. The D on this penny indicates it was minted at the Denver facility, one of the United States Mint's primary locations, producing billions of coins each year. Most pennies pass through hands unnoticed, but the 2007 D has features that make some of its examples highly sought after by collectors. So, what makes this coin historically interesting? The year 2007 was a transitional time for the Lincoln penny. The coin still carried the familiar image of Lincoln on the front, a design that has been largely unchanged since Victor David Brenner created it nearly a century earlier. The reverse, however, had recently been updated in 2009 to honor Lincoln's 200th birthday. So 2007 represents the tail end of the classic Lincoln memorial design that replaced the wheat penny back in 1959. In that sense, the 2007 D penny sits in a bridge period between long-standing tradition and the new series of Lincoln pennies, giving it a subtle but noteworthy place in numismatic history. The coin itself is made primarily of copper-plated zinc. In 1982, the U.S. Mint switched from mostly copper to zinc with a thin copper coating to reduce production costs, and by 2007, this was standard. The obverse features a clear, dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" along the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date plus the D Mint mark to the right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design dominates, complete with its recognizable columns and a tiny statue of Lincoln in the center. These details are small, but they help define what collectors look for when assessing the coin's quality and potential value. While the 2007 D Lincoln penny was minted in the hundreds of millions, not all of them are ordinary. The reason some of these pennies are valuable comes down to condition and minting errors. Coins that escape the wear and tear of circulation, appearing in what collectors call mint state, can be surprisingly valuable. Certain 2007 D pennies also exhibit errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or weak mint marks. These mistakes are rare and highly prized because they are essentially accidental variations that make a common coin unique. A penny with a perfect D mint mark, sharp details on Lincoln's coat, and a flawless reverse can easily catch the eye of collectors searching for pristine examples. To give you a sense of real-world value, most 2007 D pennies in circulated condition are worth only their face value, just 1 cent. But in mint condition, graded by professional services, their value rises considerably. Coins graded at MS65 or higher can fetch a few dollars online, and rare error varieties have sold for significantly more at auctions. For example, a 2007 D penny with a slight doubling of the date or mint mark might sell for $50 or more to the right buyer. It may not be the millions that rare 1909 pennies achieve, but for a modern coin, it's a remarkable return on what most would consider pocket change. Identifying a genuine 2007 D penny is simpler than you might think, but it requires attention to detail. Start by examining the mint mark. The D should be clear and evenly spaced, sitting just to the right of the date. Look at Lincoln's profile. Notice the sharp lines of his beard and coat. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial should have crisp columns and a visible statue. Counterfeit modern pennies are uncommon, but misstruck or altered coins do appear. If a coin seems too perfect or has unusual features, it's wise to compare it with images from reliable numismatic references or consult a professional grader. Beyond the numbers and the errors, there are fun facts that make the 2007 Lincoln penny more intriguing. For instance, these pennies continued a tradition of depicting Lincoln that stretches back more than a century, making him the only president to appear on the same coin for such an extended period. Collectors also enjoy spotting subtle differences in the copper plating. Some coins have a slightly brighter or deeper hue depending on the batch. And while the coin itself may seem small, it represents a snapshot of American history, minted during a period of relative economic stability, and shortly before the United States saw significant changes in coinage design with Lincoln's bicentennial. Collectors love the 2007 Lincoln penny because it's a coin that offers both accessibility and potential. Unlike older pennies that might require deep pockets to acquire, 2007 pennies are abundant enough to be found in circulation, yet selective enough that mint condition or error coins stand out. For the modern collector, it's a coin that can be studied, admired, and even invested in without the intimidation factor of centuries-old coins. The thrill comes in the hunt, finding a coin that's sharper than usual or spotting a slight anomaly that transforms a common penny into something rare and desirable. As we look at the 2007 Lincoln penny today, it's easy to see why it captures the imagination. It's a coin that connects us to history, reminds us of the precision required in minting, and offers the excitement of discovery for anyone willing to examine their spare change a little more closely. Even if you find just one in a drawer or a jar, it might be worth far more than its face value, especially if it has escaped the wear and tear of circulation or bears an unusual minting error. Every penny tells a story, but some, like the 2007 whisper secrets that only the observant collector can uncover. So next time you reach for a penny, consider this. It might not just be money. It could be a piece of history, a collector's treasure, or the start of a fascinating journey into the world of coins. The 2007 Lincoln penny reminds us that even in the ordinary, extraordinary stories are waiting to be discovered. Hold it up, look closely, and ask yourself, what might this little coin be hiding? The answer could surprise you, and that's the magic of coins that seem simple at first glance but have a story to tell that spans more than 100 years. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people pass by every day, completely unaware that it might hold a secret value beyond its face. One of those unassuming treasures comes from the year 2006, a Lincoln penny minted in Denver. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, just another small copper disc. But for coin enthusiasts and collectors, this tiny piece of metal carries a story full of history, design, and the thrill of discovery. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2006 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, exploring why some collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands for what looks like a simple 1-cent coin. The 2006 Lincoln penny is part of a long and celebrated tradition in American coinage. Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the penny in 1909, honoring the centennial of his birth and marking the first time a U.S. president appeared on a circulating coin. Over the decades, the penny has seen several changes in composition and design, but the image of Lincoln has remained steadfast. The 2006 edition, minted in Denver, continues that legacy, and while millions were produced for everyday use, certain characteristics can make some examples surprisingly rare. The history of the 2006 penny starts with the United States Mint's ongoing efforts to produce coins for everyday circulation. That year, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of pennies to meet the country's daily transactional needs. Unlike special commemorative coins, these pennies weren't meant to be collectible, but that's what makes the hunt so intriguing. Even in large production runs, subtle differences, minor errors, and unique features can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's gem. The Lincoln penny itself has a rich story, reflecting both American history and the evolution of coin design. In 2006, the penny remained primarily copper-plated zinc, a composition change that had started in 1982. This mixture made the penny lightweight, with a bright, reddish-golden surface that's instantly recognizable. When examining the 2006 Lincoln penny, the first thing to notice is the design. On the front, or obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile stands proudly, a familiar image that has graced the penny for over a century. The word liberty appears to his left, with the year 2006 stamped to the right, followed by the D mint mark indicating it was struck in Denver. On the reverse, the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic tribute to the 16th president, surrounded by the words United States of America and 1 cent. While the design may appear standard, subtle differences can make a particular coin more interesting to collectors. In 2006, there were reports of minor die errors, including double die varieties and small striking anomalies. These imperfections occur during the minting process, and while they don't affect the coin's usability, they create a rare and desirable version for collectors who understand what to look for. The 2006 Lincoln penny isn't considered extremely rare in general, but certain factors can make specific coins more valuable. Condition plays a huge role. A coin that has been well preserved with sharp details and minimal wear can fetch a premium. Uncirculated examples, those that never left the mint's protective environment, are especially prized. Coins with unusual features, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or faint anomalies, often draw attention because they are unexpected variations that can't be reproduced. Even small differences in the placement of the mint mark, or slight variations in the metal's surface, can make a particular 2006 penny stand out in the eyes of a collector. Real-world examples highlight just how intriguing these coins can be. While most 2006 pennies sell for face value in everyday circulation, collectible examples in exceptional condition or with notable errors have been sold in auctions and online marketplaces for significant sums. For instance, a 2006 penny exhibiting a strong double die effect on the obverse has been recorded fetching upwards of $50 to $100, a remarkable return for a coin that is usually worth just 1 cent. Uncirculated examples in professional grading cases often command higher prices, especially if they have a deep red luster, sharp strike, and no signs of wear. The key takeaway is that even a common coin can hold unexpected value, and careful examination is the first step toward discovering it. Identifying a genuine 2006 Lincoln penny is straightforward, but attention to detail is essential, especially when considering buying or selling. Start with the mint mark. The D should be clearly present to confirm Denver production. Look for the familiar reddish-golden copper tone on the surface, and examine the obverse and reverse for consistent detail. Genuine errors, such as double dies or die cracks, should show sharp, raised features rather than something that looks artificially added. Comparing suspected rare coins to reference images from professional coin guides can help avoid confusion, as counterfeit or altered coins occasionally appear on secondary markets. Handling coins carefully, preferably with gloves or by the edges, prevents oils or scratches from diminishing their potential value. Beyond technical details, there are some fun and surprising facts about the 2006 Lincoln penny. Despite being a modern coin, it carries a connection to the original 1909 design and Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy. The Lincoln penny has remained the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, making it a living piece of history that Americans interact with every day. Many collectors enjoy searching through pocket change, rolls of pennies, or old collections for coins like this, turning an ordinary moment into a treasure hunt. Even the smallest imperfection on a coin minted in 2006 can spark excitement, curiosity, and a deeper appreciation for the craft of coin production. Collectors love the 2006 D Lincoln penny today for several reasons. It represents a bridge between modern minting techniques and historical continuity. For those who collect Lincoln pennies specifically, it fills a gap in a series that spans more than a century. Its accessibility makes it a favorite for beginners and seasoned collectors alike, and the potential for discovering a unique error or rare specimen adds an element of thrill to the search. Unlike older coins, which may be harder to find or require substantial investment, the 2006 penny is a coin that millions of Americans could stumble upon, making it a tangible connection to both history and the excitement of collecting. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you reach into your pocket or check your coin jar, you could be holding a 2006 D Lincoln penny with a story far greater than its simple face value. Maybe it's uncirculated, maybe it carries a tiny minting anomaly that turns it into a collector's prize. Every coin has a history, a path through countless hands, and the potential to surprise you. The 2006 D penny reminds us that even in the everyday, there can be hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. So the next time you glance at a shiny Lincoln in your hand, ask yourself, could this ordinary-looking coin be hiding something extraordinary? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet carries a secret that could surprise you. A coin minted in the year 2000, familiar to millions of Americans, might just be hiding a rare twist that collectors dream about. What if the penny in your pocket or jar wasn't just a simple piece of change, but a piece of history that could be worth far more than its face value? Today, we're diving into the story of the 2000 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has captured the curiosity of collectors and coin enthusiasts across the country. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is part of a long line of 1-cent coins that have been produced in the United States for over a century. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, this penny continues a tradition that started back in 1909, the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that has been used from 1959 until 2008. Though the year 2000 is relatively recent in the long history of U.S. coinage, this penny has become an object of fascination because of its unique minting circumstances and potential rarity. So why does a 2000 penny matter? That year marked the final stages of the 20th century, a period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new techniques to improve coin production. Most pennies from this era were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, clearly marked with a P or a D mint mark. However, a small number of coins were produced without any mint mark at all. These no mint mark coins are unusual because they were never intended to circulate widely. Errors like this make them intriguing to collectors, not only for their rarity but also for the story they tell about how coins are made. The history of this coin begins in the early months of 2000. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies to meet public demand, especially for cash transactions and vending machines. While most coins were struck perfectly with their appropriate mint marks, a few coins slipped through the system without the markings that identify their origin. Philadelphia typically produced pennies without a mint mark for many years, but by 2000, this was less common. That makes any 2000 Lincoln penny with no mint mark stand out as an unusual and notable coin. The design of the 2000 Lincoln penny is instantly recognizable. The obverse features a profile of Abraham Lincoln, inspired by a sculpture created by Victor David Brenner over a century ago. Lincoln's face is detailed and dignified, showing the lines of his expression and the contours of his hair. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., surrounded by the words United States of America and EPLURIBUS UNUM. The coin is made primarily of zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper, giving it the familiar reddish-brown color most of us associate with pennies. The metal composition is important because it contributes to the coin's durability and appearance over time. Collectors are especially interested in the 2000 no mint mark penny because of its rarity. While millions of pennies were minted that year, only a tiny fraction were struck without the usual mint mark. This small anomaly can make the coin significantly more valuable to the right buyer, especially if it is in excellent condition. Coins that are well preserved, without scratches or discoloration, are particularly prized. The rarity of this coin lies not just in its mint mark, but also in the fact that it represents a mistake or an unusual occurrence in the minting process. To understand the value of this coin, it helps to look at real-world examples. In recent auctions, well-preserved 2000 no-mint mark pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars, sometimes even reaching over $1,000 for coins in exceptional condition. While a typical 2000 penny might be worth only a few cents, a no-mint mark variant catches the attention of collectors who are willing to pay a premium for its uniqueness. These sales demonstrate how something that seems ordinary can suddenly become extraordinary. If you think you might own one of these rare pennies, knowing how to identify a genuine 2000 no mint mark coin is crucial. First, check the obverse and reverse carefully. A genuine no mint mark penny from 2000 will have all the usual design details intact, but will lack the P or D that normally appears just below the date. The coin should also be consistent in color and weight with other pennies from the same year. Be cautious of fakes or altered coins, which may have marks removed or added artificially. Consulting a trusted coin dealer or using a magnifying glass to examine the coin closely can help confirm its authenticity. Beyond the technical details, there are fun and surprising aspects of the 2000 no mint mark penny. For instance, the coin represents a transitional period in U.S. minting history, a time when production was increasingly automated and precision was paramount. It's also a reminder that even in modern times, mistakes happen, and these mistakes can become treasures. Some collectors enjoy imagining the journey of the coin, from the press at the Philadelphia Mint to the hands of an everyday American, before it eventually finds its way into a collection. Collectors are drawn to this coin for more than just its value. It represents history, human error, and the thrill of discovery. Owning a 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is like holding a small piece of a story that only a few people can claim. It sparks curiosity, invites research, and provides a tangible connection to the world of coin collecting. For many, it's not just a coin. It's a gateway to a hobby filled with stories, community, and excitement. In today's market, interest in rare pennies continues to grow. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny stands as a testament to the unexpected treasures that can be found in everyday life. Even if you're not a professional collector, this coin reminds us that ordinary objects can carry extraordinary value. It challenges us to look a little closer, to question what we think we know, and to imagine the possibilities hidden in the most common of items. So next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a penny, take a moment to look at it carefully. Among the billions of coins in circulation, there may be one with a secret story waiting to be discovered. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a glimpse into history, a rare collector's prize, and a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary surprises. Could the coin you have today be one of these rare treasures? Only a closer look will tell. But one thing is certain. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny will continue to fascinate collectors, inspire curiosity, and remind us that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry the weight of history. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, just a simple penny, yet it could be hiding a secret worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. That coin is the 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Most people see a penny and toss it into a jar or forget about it in their wallet. But this particular coin has a story that turns everyday pocket change into a treasure. Today, we're going to uncover why this unassuming copper disc has captured the fascination of collectors, and why spotting one could change the way you look at your loose change forever. The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is, on the surface, just like any other Lincoln cent. It features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that has adorned the penny since 1909. On the reverse, it bears the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. What sets this coin apart is not in its design, but in its production details, or, in this case, the absence of a mark that would normally indicate which mint produced it. Lincoln pennies in 1995 were primarily produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins struck in Denver carry a small D mint mark under the date, while those from Philadelphia typically had no mint mark. However, a tiny subset of pennies from this year exhibits anomalies or striking differences that make them of special interest to collectors. The 1995 no mint mark penny falls into this category, as its production quirks, errors, and rarity elevate it above the ordinary. The history of the 1995 Lincoln penny begins with the United States Mint's ongoing effort to produce billions of coins each year to meet daily circulation needs. In the mid-1990s, the U.S. economy was stable, and Lincoln cents were primarily used for everyday transactions. Yet, even in a year of routine minting, errors could slip through the presses. The absence of a mint mark can occasionally indicate a coin was part of a test run, struck on a different press, or, in rare cases, misclassified. These small deviations are what make the 1995 no mint mark penny particularly interesting to numismatists. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1995 Lincoln penny is composed mainly of copper, with a thin layer of zinc, following the Postman's 1982 formula. Its obverse displays Lincoln's portrait, detailed and dignified, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial with its intricate columns and steps. The coin weighs just under 3 grams, and its diameter is 19 millimeters. Collectors often examine the coin under magnification to look for subtle variations, slight doubling of the date, weak strike areas, or anomalies in the lettering that could significantly increase its value. One reason the 1995 no mint mark penny is considered valuable is its relative scarcity in certain high-grade conditions. Millions of pennies were minted in 1995, but only a small number survive today without significant wear. Collectors prize coins that retain their original luster, have sharp details, and lack scratches or discoloration. Even minor differences, such as a slightly off-center strike or doubled die, can elevate a common penny into a collector's gem. The coin's appeal lies in its subtlety. It looks ordinary, yet its rarity and condition make it a hidden treasure. To understand the market value, we can look at recent sales and auction results. While a circulated 1995 penny with no mint mark is worth only its face value, uncirculated examples in near-perfect condition have sold for tens of dollars, and coins showing specific errors have fetched hundreds. In some cases, rare anomalies associated with this penny have commanded prices in the low thousands. Auction catalogs and online numismatic marketplaces reveal a steady interest in these coins, as collectors know that even a single penny from 1995, if in pristine condition and with unusual features, can be a valuable addition to their collection. Identifying a genuine 1995 no mint mark penny requires careful observation. Authentic coins have precise lettering, consistent spacing, and a uniform finish. Counterfeit coins may appear slightly off in weight, color, or detail. Experienced collectors often use magnification and reference guides to compare the coin with verified examples. Checking the edges, inspecting the date and lettering for anomalies, and observing the strike quality are all essential steps. Collectors who want to be confident in the authenticity of their coin sometimes send it to professional grading services, where experts verify its legitimacy and assign a grade that can dramatically affect its market value. There are also some fun and surprising details about this coin. For instance, despite being minted in large quantities for everyday use, a small percentage of these pennies have subtle variations that make each one unique. Some coins show faint die cracks, tiny spots of doubling, or slight off-center strikes, all of which are invisible to the casual eye but highly prized by collectors. Additionally, the 1995 penny is one of the last Lincoln cents before the mint began experimenting with different finishes and compositions in the late 1990s, making it part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage history. Collectors today love the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny because it represents a bridge between the everyday and the extraordinary. It reminds us that even in modern times, hidden value can be found in plain sight. For many collectors, owning this penny is not just about potential financial gain. It's about preserving a piece of history, appreciating the artistry of coin design, and the thrill of discovering something rare in something ordinary. The coin embodies both simplicity and mystery, offering an opportunity for collectors to connect with the story of American money in a tangible way. As we look back at a simple Lincoln penny from 1995, it's remarkable to consider how something so small and familiar can hold secrets and value that many overlook. The next time you empty your wallet or jar of coins, remember that among the ordinary pennies, there could be one with a story that stretches beyond its copper surface. A coin that connects us to history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. Will the next treasure be waiting quietly in your change, or has it already slipped through someone else's hands? The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us to look closer, because sometimes the most ordinary objects hold the most extraordinary stories. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people have spent without a second thought, yet a tiny detail could make it worth thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating rarities in modern American coinage, the 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1-cent coin, but for collectors, this penny is a treasure hiding in plain sight. The 1994 Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, is part of the long-running series honoring our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Since its introduction in 1909, the Lincoln penny has gone through numerous changes in metal composition, design, and minting locations. The coins produced in 1994 were primarily struck at two major U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Denver bear a small D mint mark just beneath the date, while Philadelphia coins traditionally did not carry a mint mark. So what makes a 1994 penny with no mint mark special? To understand that, we need to explore the history behind its production. In 1994, the U.S. Mint was still using the copper-plated zinc composition introduced in 1982. Each penny consisted of 97.5% zinc with a thin layer of copper, a change from the earlier mostly copper pennies. This made the coins lighter and more cost-effective to produce, but it also created conditions for unusual minting errors. One such anomaly was the appearance of pennies without a mint mark where one might expect it, particularly from coins that were intended to carry a Denver D mark but somehow didn't receive it. The design of the 1994 Lincoln penny is familiar to many. The obverse, or front, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner, a design that has endured for over a century. Lincoln's profile faces right, and the words "In God We Trust" arc above his head. Below Lincoln, the date 1994 is stamped. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the great monument in Washington, D.C., with the words "United States of America" and 1 cent clearly displayed. While the design itself isn't unique to 1994, what sets this penny apart is the mystery of its mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. Collectors know that the absence of a mint mark can indicate a rare variation. In some cases, it's simply a coin struck at Philadelphia, which normally would not have a mint mark. However, for certain batches, especially those circulated widely or intended to be error coins, a missing mint mark can suggest a misstrike from the Denver Mint or a transitional production issue. These anomalies make the coin intriguing because errors are unpredictable, and unpredictability creates value. The rarity isn't just in the missing mark, it's in the story each coin carries from the minting process to the collector's hand. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has caught the attention of serious collectors for this reason. While millions of pennies are produced every year, only a small fraction ever carry a genuine error that makes them stand out. When a coin like this appears in the market, it can command significantly higher prices than a standard penny. Real-world examples show that collectors have paid hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars for verified 1994 no-mint mark pennies, depending on condition and provenance. Coins graded by professional services as mint state, meaning they are virtually flawless, can fetch the highest prices. Even circulated examples with light wear can be surprisingly valuable if the missing mint mark is authentic and the coin is verified by a reputable numismatic organization. Identifying a genuine 1994 no-mint mark penny requires careful observation. First, examine the date area closely under good lighting or a magnifying glass. A real penny from Philadelphia will naturally lack a mint mark, while a Denver penny without a mark could be an error or counterfeit. Compare the coin to certified examples to check for subtle differences in font, spacing, or the copper layer, which are clues professionals use. Weight and metal composition can also be checked, as counterfeit coins sometimes use different materials. For serious collectors, having the coin professionally authenticated is the safest way to confirm its rarity. Beyond the technical details, there are some fun and surprising aspects of the 1994 Lincoln penny. Many people don't realize that pennies from this era are still primarily made of zinc beneath their thin copper coating, meaning they can develop distinctive greenish or bluish tones over time due to oxidation. Some coins even show faint doubling effects on the date or the memorial's columns, adding another layer of interest for enthusiasts. Others treasure the coin simply as a piece of history, a snapshot of American life in the 1990s, when pennies were still a significant part of everyday transactions. Collectors today love the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for several reasons. First, it represents a modern rarity, showing that even recent coins can surprise us. Second, it offers a tangible connection to the minting process, highlighting the small imperfections that make each coin unique. Finally, it offers a sense of discovery. Imagine searching through a pocket full of pennies and spotting one that could be worth far more than its face value. That thrill of uncovering hidden value is what drives both casual collectors and serious numismatists to pursue coins like this one. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that even everyday objects can hold stories and surprises. It's a coin that teaches patience, observation, and appreciation for history, all wrapped in a small copper and zinc disc. Whether you're a collector, an investor, or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of uncovering something rare, this penny offers a window into the fascinating world of American coinage. Next time you reach into your change, pause and take a closer look. Among the ordinary coins, there could be a 1994 penny with no mint mark, quietly holding a story and a value that might just change your day or your collection forever. Keep your eyes sharp, because treasures like this are hiding in plain sight, waiting for the next lucky person to notice. Even if you never plan to sell, owning a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is like holding a tiny piece of mystery and history in your hand. It's a reminder that ordinary things can sometimes be extraordinary, and that curiosity and attention to detail can reveal wonders hiding in the smallest of places. Could the next coin you pick up be the one that collectors dream about? Only careful observation will tell. The world of coins is full of secrets, and the 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a perfect example of how even the most familiar objects can surprise us. This penny isn't just money. It's a story, a collectible, and for some, a potential key to a rare discovery. And for those who take the time to look closely, the thrill of finding one can be as satisfying as any treasure hunt. So keep searching, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in the most ordinary places, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary that most people overlook it every day, yet it hides a story that could surprise even the most seasoned collectors. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating tale of a coin that many pass by without a second thought. The 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It may look like any other penny in your pocket, but for collectors, it carries a quiet intrigue and a value that could be worth much more than its face. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of one of the longest-running series in American coinage. Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the 1-cent coin in 1909, commemorating his 100th birthday. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has seen subtle changes in design, metal composition, and minting locations, but it has remained an essential piece of American currency. The 1978 penny is a continuation of this legacy, minted during a time when the U.S. economy was shifting, and coin collectors were becoming more attentive to rare variations. In 1978, pennies were primarily produced at two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from Denver carry a small D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins often had no mark at all. That means the 1978 penny with no mint mark came from Philadelphia. While that may seem like a minor detail, mint marks are a critical part of identifying and valuing coins. The absence of a mint mark doesn't automatically make a coin rare, but certain conditions and small variations can make it highly sought after. The 1978 Lincoln penny maintains the classic Lincoln design created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse or front side, Lincoln's profile faces right, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1978 to the right. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Every detail, from the tiny inscriptions on the memorial to the subtle lines in Lincoln's hair, speaks to the craftsmanship of mid-20th century coin production. Made primarily of copper, the 1978 penny contains about 95% copper and 5% zinc. Unlike the later steel pennies produced during wartime or the mostly zinc pennies of the 1980s and 1990s, the 1978 copper pennies have a warm reddish-brown color that can deepen beautifully with age. This composition contributes to its appeal among collectors who prize coins that have retained their original luster and color over decades. So, what makes the 1978 no mint mark penny interesting to collectors today? While it is not rare in the sense of extremely limited mintage, certain variations can make individual coins more valuable. For example, coins that escaped circulation and remain in pristine condition, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, can command higher prices. Minor errors, such as double striking, off-center designs, or die cracks, can also add a significant premium. In some auctions, a well-preserved 1978 penny with no mint mark can sell for hundreds of dollars, particularly if it displays an unusual feature or exceptional quality. Auction records show that coins in top condition often attract attention from both casual collectors and professional numismatists. A single 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, graded in near-perfect condition, might appear modest compared to the rarest pennies in U.S. history, yet it represents a tangible piece of history from the late 1970s. Collectors appreciate it for its age, its design, and the stories it carries from a time when pennies were still predominantly copper, and every coin in circulation was carefully minted. Identifying a genuine 1978 no-mint mark penny is relatively straightforward, but attention to detail is key. First, check the year and ensure there is no small letter near it, which would indicate a different mint. Next, examine the edges and surface for consistency in color and weight. Authentic pennies from 1978 weigh about 3.11 grams. Be cautious of coins that appear unusually shiny or lightweight, as these could be altered or counterfeit. Close inspection under a magnifying glass can reveal fine details in Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions on the memorial, helping verify authenticity. Beyond technical details, the 1978 Lincoln penny carries some surprising trivia. It was minted during a time when the U.S. economy was experiencing high inflation, and the penny still served as a daily currency item for Americans. Many people today don't realize that billions of these coins were produced, yet only a small fraction remain in excellent condition. Another interesting point is that the Lincoln Memorial design, still present on this coin, is no longer used on pennies minted after 2008, making these older coins a nostalgic reminder of a different era. Collectors are drawn to this coin for several reasons. First, it's a link to history, a tangible piece of the late 1970s that has survived decades of use. Second, it offers the excitement of discovery. Finding a well-preserved 1978 penny with no mint mark in a jar of loose change can feel like stumbling upon a secret treasure. Third, it represents a broader fascination with the Lincoln penny series, which remains one of the most popular and widely collected coin series in America. Even though it may not break records like a 1943 steel penny or a 1955 double die, the 1978 penny has its own quiet charm. Its value comes not only from rarity but from the stories it tells. Every scratch, every color change, every subtle imperfection adds to its character. For many collectors, the coin becomes more than currency. It becomes a keepsake, a conversation starter, and a bridge to a time that is now history. As we reflect on this small but intriguing coin, it's clear that the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a penny. It is a reminder that even the most common objects can hold stories waiting to be discovered. The next time you find a seemingly ordinary penny in your pocket or a drawer, take a closer look. You never know what history might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice, to appreciate, and perhaps to treasure. The 1978 Lincoln penny invites curiosity, careful study, and appreciation for the art and history of American coinage. It challenges us to see value beyond the obvious, to recognize that even a small coin can carry a legacy. And who knows, the next time you hold a penny in your hand, it might be one that sparks not only nostalgia, but also the thrill of uncovering something rare and remarkable. History, design, subtle variations, and the promise of hidden value. All of these elements make the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny a coin worth exploring. Whether you are a casual enthusiast or a serious collector, its story reminds us that treasure is often found in the most unexpected places. Keep your eyes open, and maybe one day, a humble penny from 1978 will become a window into the past and a prized piece of your own collection. Even as time moves forward, the appeal of these small coins endures. They connect generations, preserve moments in history, and invite curiosity. So next time you reach for change, take a moment to examine that penny. In its copper glow lies a story that began over 40 years ago, and for those who notice, its value, both historical and monetary, might be far greater than you ever imagined. This is the quiet allure of the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that reminds us that history is all around us, even in the smallest of places, waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. Imagine holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, yet carries decades of stories, careful craftsmanship, and a rare chance to be worth far more than its face value. Today, we're diving into the intriguing world of the 1976 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that sparks curiosity among collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. Why would a simple 1-cent coin from 1976 capture the attention of the numismatic world? The answer lies not just in the year or the mint mark, but in the fascinating history and subtle details that make this penny a hidden gem. The 1976 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins featuring Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This coin was produced at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D stamped below the date. While the Lincoln Cent series is familiar to every American, the 1976 D penny holds a special place for collectors because it comes from a year that marked the nation's bicentennial celebrations. While the penny itself wasn't redesigned like the quarter or the half dollar, it still carries the weight of that historic moment in subtle ways, bridging everyday currency with a period of national pride. Understanding the history of this coin begins with the year 1976. The United States was celebrating 200 years since the Declaration of Independence, and coins from this era often spark interest simply because of their connection to that milestone. The Lincoln penny, however, continued in its traditional design, featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse, which had been consistent since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, introduced in 1959. While this might seem unremarkable, what makes the 1976 D penny interesting is its place in the larger context of circulating coins during a time of celebration and subtle change in coin production. The unique features of the 1976 D Lincoln penny start with its composition. Unlike earlier pennies that were made primarily of copper, the 1976 D penny is a copper-plated zinc coin, a shift that had started in 1962 at the Denver Mint. This change was driven by rising copper prices and the need to reduce production costs. The coin contains 97.5% zinc with a thin layer of copper, giving it the familiar reddish-brown appearance that Americans associate with pennies. Collectors pay attention to this because over time, the copper plating can wear away, revealing the zinc core and affecting the coin's overall grade and value. Another interesting feature is the mint mark itself. The small d is more than a simple letter. It tells you that this penny was struck in Denver. Mint marks can be crucial for collectors, as coins from different mints can have varying rarity and quality. Occasionally, coins from this era show minor errors, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or die cracks. These errors are often subtle, but they can significantly increase a coin's value. While the 1976 D penny doesn't have a famously notorious error like some other years, even slight variations in the strike or planchet can make a difference for a dedicated collector. Why is this penny considered rare or valuable? For most everyday pennies, rarity is tied to condition, minting errors, or production numbers. The 1976 D penny is interesting because it straddles a line between being common enough to find in circulation and old enough to be collectible. High-grade examples, especially those that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, can command attention at auctions and among collectors. The combination of its bicentennial context, Denver Mint origin, and potential for error coins creates an environment where enthusiasts actively seek well-preserved specimens. To give you an idea of its market appeal, consider this. At numismatic auctions, uncirculated 1976 D pennies can fetch prices well above their face value, sometimes in the range of $20 to $50 for coins in perfect mint condition. Coins with minor errors, unusual toning, or particularly sharp strikes have sold for even more. While this is not a coin that typically reaches the astronomical figures of rare dates like the 1943 copper penny or certain 1955 double-die varieties, it remains a favorite for collectors building a complete Lincoln cent set, especially those focused on post-1960s coins in excellent condition. Identifying a genuine 1976 D penny is fairly straightforward, but there are a few tips that collectors use to ensure authenticity. First, check the mint mark carefully. The D should be clear and well defined beneath the date. Second, examine the overall color and surface. Genuine pennies from this era have a copper-plated zinc composition, so signs of corrosion or unusual weight may indicate a counterfeit or altered coin. Weighing the coin can help, as a standard 1976 D penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. Additionally, closely inspecting the rim and strike quality can reveal whether the coin has been manipulated or artificially enhanced for sale. By learning these subtle details, collectors can confidently determine whether they are holding a true piece of 1976 coinage history. Beyond numbers and mint marks, the 1976 D penny has some fun facts that make it stand out. For example, because it was produced during the bicentennial year, many people mistakenly assume it was specially designed for the celebration. In reality, the Lincoln penny retained its traditional look, but the context of the year itself adds a layer of historical charm. Some collectors also enjoy the subtle differences in color that can develop over decades due to toning, giving each coin a unique patina that tells its own story. These small, often overlooked details make the act of collecting pennies from this era both engaging and surprisingly personal. Collectors love the 1976 D Lincoln penny not only because of its potential value, but because it represents a tangible connection to a specific moment in American history. Holding one of these coins is like holding a quiet witness to the nation's bicentennial year. For enthusiasts completing a Lincoln cent collection, it's a necessary piece. And for casual collectors, it's a reminder that even everyday coins can carry historical significance. The appeal is in both the story behind the coin and the satisfaction of finding one in excellent condition, whether in a dusty drawer, a coin roll, or at a local coin shop. As we wrap up, consider this. The 1976 D Lincoln penny may look ordinary at first glance, but it is a subtle reminder that history often hides in plain sight. Each penny carries the imprint of a time when the United States celebrated 2 centuries of independence, a coin that traveled through countless hands, pockets, and stories. For those willing to look closely, it offers more than a single cent. It offers a glimpse into the past, the thrill of discovery, and the quiet excitement of knowing that even a small coin can hold great value. Next time you pick up a penny, consider the story it might be telling. Could it be a rare 1976 D waiting to surprise you? Or perhaps it is a reminder that history is often closer than we think, hiding quietly in the everyday objects around us. The 1976 D Lincoln penny reminds us that coins are not just currency, they are storytellers. And in every collection, every well-preserved specimen, and every careful inspection, there's a chance to uncover a little piece of history that has survived decades, patiently waiting for the right eye to notice it. What other secrets might lie in your pocket change? Perhaps the next extraordinary find is just a coin toss away. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people walked past without a second glance, yet it hides a secret that could make it one of the most sought-after pennies in the United States. This is not just any penny. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and history enthusiasts alike. From its subtle details to the rare quirks that set it apart, this humble piece of metal carries a story worth uncovering. The 1968 Lincoln penny may seem ordinary at first glance, but it's far from it. Most pennies from that year bear a small mint mark, a tiny letter under the date indicating where the coin was struck, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, a select few do not carry any mark at all, and that absence instantly makes them special. This small, almost invisible difference has made the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny a quiet treasure for those who know what to look for. To understand why this coin matters, it helps to look back at its history. The year 1968 was a turbulent time in America. The nation was grappling with political unrest, civil rights movements, and a changing economy. Yet, in the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins for everyday commerce. Lincoln pennies had been in circulation for over half a century by that point, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design had remained remarkably consistent, a profile of Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, serving as a daily reminder of one of America's most revered presidents. The 1968 pennies were made primarily of a copper-based alloy, 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition had been restored a few years earlier after the brief use of a steel core in 1943 during World War II. The coin's design is familiar to anyone who has handled pennies. Lincoln's thoughtful profile facing right, with his name and the motto "In God We Trust" etched along the rim. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stands as a symbol of unity and perseverance, with the words "United States of America" arching above it. But what makes the 1968 no-mint mark penny truly fascinating is its rarity. During that year, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, but only a fraction emerged without any mint mark. The lack of a mint mark wasn't the result of a deliberate error. It was simply a production anomaly. In the era before advanced automation, coins could occasionally leave the press without the intended mark. This small oversight transformed what would have been an everyday coin into a rare collectible, especially for those who aim to own examples from every mint or are searching for unusual variations. Collectors and enthusiasts have long paid attention to the subtle variations of Lincoln pennies, and the 1968 no-mint mark variety is a standout. While common pennies from that year are worth only their face value, a well-preserved no-mint mark coin can command a surprising premium. At auctions and in collector circles, coins in uncirculated condition have been known to sell for hundreds, and sometimes even thousands, of dollars, depending on their grade and provenance. There are stories of coins sold for over $300 simply because they were in pristine condition and lacked the mint mark, making them instantly desirable to serious collectors. Identifying a genuine 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny requires careful observation. The absence of a mint mark should be clean and unintentional, not artificially removed or polished. Genuine coins will show uniformity in wear and patina consistent with their age. Collectors often examine the coin under magnification, checking the edges and surface for signs of tampering or modern reproduction. A real coin carries subtle signs of its era, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to the faint details in the memorial on the back. Even the weight and composition can serve as indicators. A coin struck in the Philadelphia Mint in 1968 will have the correct copper-zinc alloy and weigh just under 3 grams. Learning to spot these features is part of what makes coin collecting both challenging and rewarding. Beyond its rarity, the 1968 no-mint mark penny has a number of surprising details that keep collectors intrigued. For instance, the coin's design underwent minor adjustments in the 1960s to improve striking quality. Some coins from this period show slight doubling on the letters or the memorial, subtle signs that expert collectors eagerly look for. Others reveal tiny imperfections caused by worn dies or uneven pressure during minting. These variations, almost invisible to the casual observer, can significantly increase a coin's desirability and value. Even the color of the penny, the warm, reddish hue of copper, can affect its appeal. Coins that retain their original luster, showing little oxidation or handling, are always in high demand. Collectors are drawn to the 1968 no-mint mark penny for more than just its market value. It represents a piece of American history, a tangible connection to a specific year and era. Holding one of these pennies is a way to touch the past, to feel the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Coin enthusiasts often speak of the thrill of discovery, the joy of spotting a rare piece among everyday change, and the satisfaction of adding a true rarity to their collection. It's this combination of history, beauty, and scarcity that elevates the coin from a simple 1-cent piece to a cherished artifact. There are also fun and lesser-known facts about this coin that make it even more intriguing. Despite being a relatively modern coin, it's sometimes mistaken for older pennies by casual collectors because of its unmarked status. In some cases, families have discovered these coins tucked away in jars or drawers, completely unaware of their rarity, turning ordinary moments into stories of surprise and fortune. In addition, the 1968 no-mint mark penny can serve as a gateway for people new to coin collecting, sparking curiosity about other rare varieties and historical coins from the 20th century. Today, the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny continues to be a beloved item among collectors. Its appeal lies not just in rarity, but in the story it tells, a story of production quirks, American history, and the quiet intrigue of coins that pass unnoticed every day. Collectors prize coins that are well preserved, especially those that maintain original detail and luster. The market remains active, and serious buyers are always on the lookout for coins that have escaped circulation and remain in exceptional condition. As we consider the journey of this penny, from the Philadelphia Mint to the hands of collectors decades later, it becomes clear that even the smallest objects can hold great significance. The 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a reminder that rarity doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it is hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with a keen eye and curiosity to uncover its story. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of coins, spotting a 1968 no-mint mark penny can be a thrilling encounter, a connection to history, and a small, shining piece of American heritage. So the next time you reach into your pocket or search through a jar of change, consider the possibility that a tiny, unassuming coin might be more than it seems. Could it be a 1968 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, quietly holding a legacy of history and rarity? That question alone is enough to spark the curiosity that drives collectors and enthusiasts to explore, discover, and cherish coins that tell stories far beyond their face value. The world of rare pennies is full of surprises, and this coin, hidden in plain sight for decades, continues to captivate those who take the time to look closely. This is the quiet allure of the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that reminds us that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories. And who knows, the next coin you pick up might just be one of these rare treasures, waiting for its story to be discovered. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket that looks ordinary, but turns out to be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. What if that penny says 1964 and has a tiny letter under Lincoln's date? Today, we're uncovering the true story behind the 1964 mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin millions of people have held, yet very few truly understand. This coin is the Lincoln Memorial 1-cent piece, struck in 1964 at the Denver Mint. It features President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design Americans had seen every day since 1959. But behind this familiar look is a fascinating story tied to one of the most important years in modern U.S. history, and to one of the biggest turning points in American coinage. To understand why the 1964 penny matters, we need to go back to the early 1960s. The country was changing fast. The space race was underway, the civil rights movement was reshaping society, and the economy was growing. But something unusual was happening with coins. Americans were hoarding silver coins because the value of silver was rising, and people were worried that coins might soon be worth more melted down than spent in stores. Even though pennies were not made of silver, the U.S. Mint went into overdrive producing coins in 1964 to fight shortages across the country. More coins were struck in that single year than almost any other time in U.S. history. The Denver Mint alone produced over 3.7 billion pennies in 1964. That massive production makes the 1964 D penny common in everyday condition. But it also created rare varieties, errors, and high-grade survivors that collectors now search for intensely. The Lincoln cent design used in 1964 was created by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1964, the design had become iconic. On the front, Lincoln faces right, with the words "In God We Trust" along the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date on the right. Below the date on Denver-minted coins is the small letter D, identifying where the coin was made. On the back is the Lincoln Memorial, with the statue of Lincoln visible inside the building if you look closely. Above it reads United States of America, and below it, 1 cent. Across the top is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. What truly sets the 1964 penny apart from later Lincoln cents is the metal. This coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, giving it a rich reddish color when uncirculated. In 1982, the mint switched to mostly zinc pennies coated with copper, so older copper cents like the 1964 D now feel heavier, sound different when dropped, and age differently over time. That solid copper composition alone makes these coins attractive to collectors. But not all 1964 D pennies are created equal. Most circulated examples are worth only a few cents, but certain varieties and conditions can make this coin surprisingly valuable. One of the most sought-after versions is the 1964 D penny with a double die error. This happens when the coin design is accidentally stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a doubled look, especially noticeable in the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. These doubled die coins are rare because they came from only a small number of defective dies, yet they were mixed into billions of regular pennies. Most people spent them without noticing. Today, collectors search rolls, jars, and old collections hoping to find one. Another highly collectible variety involves repunched mint marks. In the 1960s, mint marks were punched into dies by hand. Sometimes the punch slipped or was reapplied, creating a second, shadow-like D under the original one. These repunched mint mark coins are fascinating because they offer visible evidence of how coins were made before modern technology took over. Then there are off-center strikes, clipped planchets, weak strikes, and die cracks, all mint errors that occurred during the massive production rush of 1964. While many are subtle, dramatic examples can bring strong premiums in the collector market. But the biggest value factor for the 1964 D penny is condition. Because so many were made, only a tiny percentage survived in flawless mint condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A circulated 1964 D penny might be worth only 2 to 10 cents, but one graded M-67 red, meaning brilliant red copper with no visible wear, can sell for hundreds of dollars. In fact, auction records show that high-grade 1964 D Lincoln cents have sold for over $2,000 when certified by professional grading services. That's for a single penny, one that once bought a piece of candy or helped pay for a newspaper. Some double die varieties have sold for several $100s, depending on strength and eye appeal. Dramatic mint errors like major off-center strikes or broad strikes have brought prices from $100 to well over $1,000. These values fluctuate with demand, but the key takeaway is simple. While most 1964 D pennies are common, the right one can be truly special. So how do you know if you might have a valuable example? Start by checking the date and mint mark. Look under the year 1964. If you see a small D, it was made in Denver. Next, look closely at the lettering with a magnifying glass or phone camera zoom. Do any letters look doubled, thickened, or shadowed? Pay special attention to the date, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Then inspect the mint mark itself. Does the D look like it has a second outline or extra shape underneath? That could be a repunched mint mark. Also check whether the coin is off-center, missing part of its edge, unusually thick, or shows cracks in the design, all possible signs of mint errors. Next, evaluate condition. Does the coin still have bright red color, sharp details, and no visible wear? Or does it look brown, worn, and dull? Copper coins darken over time, so bright red ones are far rarer. The better the condition, the higher the potential value. One important warning: do not clean your coin. Cleaning damages the surface and can drastically reduce value, even if the coin is rare. Collectors prefer natural surfaces, even if they look old. As for fakes, the good news is that counterfeit 1964 D pennies are extremely rare because the coin itself is common. However, altered coins do exist. Some people add fake doubling or tamper with mint marks. To protect yourself, compare your coin to known examples online or consult a reputable coin dealer or grading service. A genuine doubled die will show doubling that looks rounded and part of the original design, not scratched or carved. Now let's explore some fascinating facts about this coin that most people don't know. First, 1964 was the last year the U.S. Mint used the traditional 95% copper alloy for all pennies. While copper cents continued until 1982, 1964 marks the peak of copper cent production before major changes swept through U.S. coinage. It was also the last year silver was used in dimes, quarters, and half dollars for regular circulation, making 1964 a historic turning point across all denominations. Second, because so many coins were made in 1964, huge quantities were saved by the public in rolls and bags. People sensed that change was coming, and many hoarded coins hoping they would become valuable. As a result, unopened rolls of 1964 D pennies still appear today, often in remarkable condition, offering collectors the thrill of searching for rare varieties decades later. Third, the Lincoln Memorial design itself holds a hidden detail. Lincoln's statue is visible inside the memorial, making this one of the few U.S. coins to show the same person on both sides at once. It's a small artistic touch that most people never notice until it's pointed out. Fourth, the copper in a single 1964 penny today is worth more than 1 cent at melt value, though melting U.S. coins is illegal. Still, this fact highlights how the intrinsic metal value of these old pennies adds another layer of interest, especially during times of high copper prices. Collectors love the 1964 D penny not because it's rare in general, but because it's full of possibilities. It's affordable, widely available, and still hiding discoveries. It invites beginners into the hobby while offering experts a challenge, finding the best condition examples, rare die varieties, and dramatic mint errors among billions of ordinary coins. There's also something deeply emotional about this coin. It represents everyday American life during a powerful moment in history. This penny passed through hands during the Civil Rights era, the Cold War, and the early days of modern America. It bought groceries, newspapers, bus rides, and candy bars. Now, decades later, those same pennies sit quietly in jars, drawers, and collections, waiting to be rediscovered. For many collectors, the 1964 D penny is a gateway coin, the piece that makes them stop and say, "Wait, this could be something special." It's the coin that turns pocket change into possibility and curiosity into passion. And perhaps the most exciting part is this: there are still undiscovered varieties out there. Not every double die or mint error has been found. New examples continue to surface when people search old collections or inherited coins. That means the next great discovery could be sitting in your home right now. So the next time you see a 1964 penny with a tiny D beneath the date, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Look closer. Turn it in the light. Examine its details. Because sometimes the most common-looking coins hide the most fascinating stories and the greatest surprises. And who knows? That small copper coin you've overlooked for years might just be the one that changes how you see your pocket change forever.